Hey everyone, how's it going? So I've got the 5711 going here. I'm getting ready to hook it to the big peckway tedder and go do some tedding. I've got about 35 acres of hay mowed, and I've done something a little bit different. It was extremely wet this morning when I mowed the hay, and I'll explain that here in a few minutes, what I did different. But first, let's get the tedder hooked up. All right, we'll hook up to the 6101. This is the second year I've had this tedder. So far, so good. Uh-oh, jack ain't up high enough. Daggone jack gremlins got me again. That's way too low. Alright. Let's jack it up a little bit. Dang jack gremlins. There's a water ditch right here in front of the building to keep water from going in the shed, and as I go up it, it's making the tedder too low. Now I got it. 20 minutes later, get the dang thing hooked up. This PTO holder on this thing right here really messed me up. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See this PTO shaft holder here? It was mounted right here. When it was folded down, it was sticking out about this far out from under the, to the left of the, well, to the right of the tongue technically. And it was right where the tire would turn. When you come around, it would come around and catch it. If you turn too short, well, I was watching it real close. I never did do it. Then I had some help running this thing, and they wasn't watching so close. So it caught the tire caught it, it flipped it up, it got it into the PTO shaft, tore the guard all to pieces. It tore this piece loose from this piece, and but I was able to salvage the guard. This is the same guard. I just worked on it, fixed it, put it back together up here. But I moved this thing. I moved it from here, and I drilled me a new hole, and I shortened it some so it would still work, but it doesn't get in the way when you flip it down. So you can, once you flip it down now, the tire goes in behind it. All right, there we go. Everything's hooked up, ready to go. All right, so we're just going right up here next to my dad's place, and we're gonna get started. I want to show you what I'm doing different here. It's not something I'm going to always do, but in this particular situation, I deemed it was necessary to do this. Okay, so when I mow, I typically like to lay out the windrows as wide as possible. And I've been doing that for years and years. Well, it has been raining and raining and raining and raining. And this ground was so saturated yesterday, I decided it was going to be better to put the hay in as tight of a windrow as I could get it in. So something about this wide here, about what I could step over. and leave all this ground here exposed to dry as long as I could. So I think the ground is dried up quite a bit. Oh yeah, the stubble is perfectly dry. The dirt is still a little moist, but I think that'll be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and ted it out now. It's been about, well, I mowed this yesterday evening, and but I think this is dry enough. I can go ahead and ted it out and be satisfied with it. And but yeah, typically I always lay it out as wide as possible and let it dry for a day. But this time I just thought it would be a lot better to let the ground dry out first. You can see here where I was driving. See what it was doing yesterday when I run over it, it was causing the ground to get a lot of tracks in it, mash the grass right in the ground. And if I run over the hay, it was mashing it into the ground also. And I didn't like that. Now typically I don't worry about running over the hay. It doesn't cause an issue. But yesterday it was just so wet, I thought it was causing an issue. So there's my wife and my boys riding around. All right, so let's get this tedder fired up. Hey, I'm back and I got a load of youngins. So if you hear them talking, or anything else strange going on, it's probably them. So we're going to start this tedder up here. Spread it out.
Daddy, that is a big tedder.
It is a big tedder, son. I bought it for big jobs. Big tedding jobs. Works out good that way, don't it? Alright, we're running 540E. And see what gear we need to be in. 3A, 3B, I think is what I normally end up in, but we'll start off in 3B. I mean 3A and go to 3B now. Right, son? I have both of my boys in here, by the way. What was that? Oh, you're trying to... Dorsey's trying to kill a fly. This is Dawson. Oh, there's Dorsey. Y'all remember these boys? Whoa, son. Jeez. I believe we'll lock that out. Fortunately, you can lock it on this tractor. Okay. No, Dawson. This might be a fun experience. He's done changed gears and everything for me. Dawson, no sir. Please leave things alone, Dawson. Okay, please leave stuff alone. Okay?
This is going to be a plus there.
Dawson is 2. Dorsey's 6.
Yeah, and I just got hit on the back yesterday.
Dorsey got hit with a baseball bat yesterday.
And knocked out a tooth. Knocked
a tooth out. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. It was an accident by one of his friends, but his friend was trying to hit the baseball, I guess, and on the backswing, Dorsey was too close. I got you, boy. Now, there's one thing I do not like about this tractor, but they are trying to fix it. The auto throttle, this button here, you're supposed to be able to preset an engine RPM. Like if you want to preset it, you can hold it down like a radio button and it'll set it to whatever you have it at the current time. Then you can have your hand throttle pulled all the way down, and you can just hit that button and it'll automatically rev the engine to that preset RPM. Well, they really messed up and made it to where every time you push the brake pedals, it cuts it off. So if you need to stop or if you're going down a hill, if you go down a hill and you need to hold the brakes just a little bit to keep from overspeeding the PTO, it just makes the tractor go back to an idle. So basically, it's basically useless. But Massey Ferguson says they are reprogramming the ECM to take that cancellation with the brake pedal feature out, which is not really a feature. It's just I think it was a mistake by engineering or by somebody, because the Massey Ferguson 4710 I have does not do that. It stays on until you push the button again, which is what it should do. It's not designed to be used as a cruise control out on the road. It's designed to, to work out in the field. And when you're working a baler or a tedder or, anything like that, you don't want the RPMs to just all of a sudden drop just because you have to mash the brake pedal to stop to dump a round bale or stop for any reason. Or even like this is a really steep hill, and to keep the engine from overspeeding, sometimes I have to drag the brakes just slightly. Not the engine from overspeeding, but from overspeeding the PTO. You may have to drag the brakes just slightly. Well, it would just turn that feature off, and the tractor would go to an idle. So right now I'm having to use the hand throttle. What's wrong with the seat belt? All right, I'll take it off. But then you're gonna fall everywhere.
You didn't get a nap, huh?
What?
You didn't get a nap, huh?
I didn't get a nap. No, my nap didn't work out today.
And you don't get no coffee? You didn't get no coffee?
No, I don't. I hadn't had no coffee this evening. What is that? Plastic bag. Okay. Need to get that out of there.
And then you just tethered it.
I did. I tethered it up. Now I have this field, and I have my alfalfa field mowed and a couple of other ones. So I've got about 35 acres down. Where you going, Dawson?
Huh?
Where you going?
To a tractor bull.
The tractor? Okay.
And I pooped when at T-ball game.
Oh, you threw up, didn't you? You got car sick going to a T-ball game this morning. Dorsey's had a hard last couple of days. Easy now, don't put your feet up there on the switches, okay? Papa's truck?
Uh-huh.
Alright, we'll chat back to y'all here in a little bit. We are now at the alfalfa field, and this morning this field was the worst as far as being muddy. You can see right here, we're already all the way down to the dirt where it was so wet, which alfalfa, where it's got a lot bigger stems and it was drilled a couple of years ago, there's a lot more room between each blade of grass or stem from the alfalfa, and there's also orchard grass in this, but these windrows are very thick and heavy. There's a lot of hay in them. You can see all the alfalfa in there. We're going to spread this alfalfa out with this big tedder, and the ground is not perfectly dry, but it's a lot better than it was. So I'm not worried about it mashing it into the ground now. So we're going to get after it. Okay, so let's get this thing folded out. Get it fired up. Take the parking brake off. This stuff was super thick and heavy, so it'll be a good test for this tedder. Right, Dorsey? It just ain't quite wide enough to do 3 rows. This tedder's not. It'll kind of do 3 rows, but sometimes it won't quite reach the 3rd row, so it's hard to, when you come on the next one, it's hard to just, you know, you might miss 1 row if you still try to do 3 rows if it didn't quite get that 3rd one. Right now it's getting all 3 of them. You gotta drive about perfect though to get it to do it. Can't mess up any. It's not like this is the only time I'm gonna be tedding it anyway, so. I'm in a 1 lower gear than I would have been. I thought I would let it, I might could go up to the next gear, but I thought I'd let the tedder have a little extra time with this heavier crop, and windrows are just bigger and a little heavier. Right here to my right is an orchard grass, or just a grass hay field. It's not alfalfa in it. We got it all mowed too. It's about 12 acres, and this one's about 10 acres. I got plenty to bale, and also in this same stretch of weather, which is about 4 days, maybe 5. And I got to do some customs baling for a buddy of mine over in Floyd, where we do straw every year. Got to go do that during this stretch of weather. He's got it mowed. He actually mowed it, and it's rained on it for about a week. So now we got to get it up. So hopefully we can work that in before it rains again. But I had to get this done, or really needed to get this hay up too, especially this alfalfa. It was already past due to cut it. I normally cut it around the 20th, and it's the 28th. So I'm about a week behind on this already. But I think it's going to be all right. It's a little more mature, but it really didn't have I didn't see many blooms. I mean, it was blooming, but I didn't see many blooms on it. On the alfalfa. Now, the orchard grass it wasn't right, but it was headed out and it was ready to go. I mean, it was ready. I could not keep the mower going up up above me while I was mowing this. Anytime I was on a side hill and the mower was above me, it would just slide. I didn't care how slightly slanted the land was, it would just slide down the hill. I mean, just, you know, you could even raise it up and have it completely on the tires, and it would just drag along sideways behind you until you got off the side hill. And this is not steep at all. I mean, it's a little bit sidling, but it is not steep at all. Maybe maybe up to 10 degrees, or no, it ain't that much. Probably more like 5 to 8 degrees. It's not much. And it just would not stay up into the hay. So what I had to do was make it to where, you know, it's a hydro swing, so I can mow off either side of the tractor. So what I was having to do was just mow it to where I had the mower down below the tractor at all times. That was the only way I could get it to mow and to stay in where it needed to be to mow. It just kept on trying to, like, here's your tractor and here's your mower. The mower just wanted to swing down the hill. Anytime the mower was up here, it just swing down the hill, and it would not stay up in the hay. And it was plowing big furrows and everything else. Like, well, why in the heck was you mowing it? Well, because I have a window of opportunity, and the window of opportunity started today, and it had to be mowed today, and it has to be drying today, and it is now. But I had to get on with the program. You know what I mean? I got to get all this hay up, and I got to get that straw done. It wouldn't be quite as big of a push if it wasn't for the straw deal, but I got to get the straw done also. So a little bit more of a push this time. So if I didn't have to do that, I might would have waited another day before I mowed it to give it time for the ground to heal up some and dry out. But we got a lot of rain over the last week. Looks like it's going pretty good, don't it, Dorsey? Alright. This is going to be the end of this video. Appreciate y'all watching. We're going to ted this field, and we might move on to the next field this evening and get it spread out too. What I mowed later this evening will probably be tomorrow before I spread it out. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one.